wondering, can you give us a brief summary of really what these tough issues are and what the government can do to help fix this problem?
Sure, Alex. There's been ample evidence that we're in a state of crisis in this country in terms of indigent defense. There are lawyers who are representing people with very little resources, and there are people who get convicted in courtrooms without ever talking to a lawyer. There have been mounting court cases as well as studies done that document that the system is broken. So what we talked about, the issues are complex, but there is a model for dealing with them. The federal government responds to crises in a certain way. We've had ample, opportunities to witness this recently, unfortunately. And that model consists of three things. Number one, when there's a crisis, it's not business as usual. They respond differently, swiftly, and sometimes take radical action. Emergency powers, emergency action, falling into three categories: communication and education, holding people and organizations accountable, and then number three, finding the resources that are necessary to control the damage, to stop the damage. And that's what needs to happen here. The federal government has played a leading role in creating public defense systems across the country. After Gideon and Argesinger, they now need to play a leading role to help create the systems that are broken. So communication and education, the Attorney General, Professor Tribe, the department, they're doing a fabulous job. We applaud the fact that they're out there talking to people. It needs to be, there's so many audiences that need to hear that message. Everyone in the criminal justice system and others, legislators, policymakers need to understand why indigent defense is important to them and why it's important to the administration of justice. Number two, accountability. The federal government has to hold the states accountable for their mandated responsibility of providing counsel. There are three basic models ways that they could do that people are proposing. One is Congress could expand the authority of the Department of Justice to enforce the Sixth Amendment. And then second, there could be two new private rights of action that the Justice Department could support in order to put pressure on states to comply with the model. And then number three, you have to find the resources to deal with the problem. If it's a crisis, you find the money to address it. Okay. Part of the reason there is a crisis is because unintentionally the federal government has poured billions of dollars into law enforcement, prosecutorial functions, and other functions in the criminal justice systems in the states without giving the same money to indigent defense. At its high point, indigent defense was getting about 1.4% of the federal grant dollars that was being poured into the states for criminal justice issues. That imbalance needs to be corrected, and it's going to take resources to do it. Next year is going to be NLADA, the National Legal Aid and Defender Association's 100th anniversary. And as we get ready to mark that centennial milestone, we will this fall be launching an initiative to eliminate the justice gap by the year 2020. We think that there are new and expanded ways that the partnerships can work between the federal governments, the states, and the private sector, and that we actually can make a difference in terms of provide the right to counsel.